Hey there, what is going on, YouTubers? It's another night of somewhat severe depression, but there's no point in complaining, right? Since nobody is gonna give you a piece of horse shite, no matter how depressed and how broken you claim to be, no matter how much you mourn and groan in travail. Unfortunately, if you don't have a loving parent or parents, you and you don't take actions, you are very much likely gonna live the rest of your life in utter misery and loneliness. So give up all those fantasies about how you perceive others are gonna give you a helping hand. Whenever you run into trouble, whenever whenever you got yourself sunk or stranded in deep waters. That's why I suppose I found this quite fitting to you guys read and also plus a bit of a review on the book. Again, the Millionaire Fastlane cracked the code to wealth and live rich for a lifetime. Just show you the cover page again, in order for me to make a fairly decent looking thumbnail for this video of mine. So without further ado, let's begin. And I sincerely beg your pardon if my accent still doesn't sound sufficiently British, since I have pretty much spent the most duration of my life speaking English in American accent. While I suppose my old man had a large part to play in such end result, since most of the time when he was still with me alive on planet Earth, we spoke pretty much in American English instead of British English. But I just like to kind of make a switch and see if I could gain more or earn more favors if I could speak in British Posh accent. Well, I often hear saying on YouTube, especially from a channel called J, learning English with J, and I first got to know her on YouTube, I first got to know her on YouTube through a video called The Secret of English Rhythms, something like that. But yes, I still have the video, but I don't know if she still keeps such video in her channel. But please don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to endorse or sponsor her or her channel or any of her business undertakings on YouTube or on any other social media platform or on any other website. But instead, I just give you guys a bit of interesting anecdote of my life. So yeah, so without further ado, let us begin. The Millionaire Fastlane cracked the code to wealth and live rich for a lifetime by MGTOW. So we have Fastlane number 9 or chapter 9, but it's called Fastlane. But in the table of contents, it's it's labeled as chapter instead of Fastlane. But on the very first page of each chapter, it's titled Fastlane instead of chapter. Yeah. So wealth demands accountability. Responsibility is the price of greatness by Winston Churchill. So I have always found it's quite tough to differentiate the meaning of accountability from responsibility. I'm not sure if it has something to do with my current weakened cognitive abilities due to my depression and other shite. So we have the next, the following texts. Hitchhikers don't drive. One anchor to the sidewalk is to entrust your financial plan to others. To believe that there is a shelter to wealth. Sorry, I just forgot how to pronounce this word again. That's shelter. Chauffeur, yeah.
Chauffeur.
Is chauffeur. So, one anchor to sidewalk is to entrust your financial plan to others. To believe that there is a chauffeur to wealth and that someone else can drive that journey for you. This mindset makes you vulnerable to victimhood. Imagine if you hitchhiked across the country. There's a decent chance you'd never make it to your destination. You could climb into a cyclist's car that decides to take you on an unintended detour. You could encounter a murderer who slashes your throat and dumps you in a roadside ditch. Hitchhiking is inefficient and dangerous. I'm not sure why the author used such an extreme example, pertaining to hitchhiking, But I suppose, under British context, you can't do much about hitchhiking since Great Britain, despite her name, despite the fact that her full name contains the word great. She isn't that great in size. Else she wouldn't look so fancy to that many of people across the whole world. Yes. But on the other hand, America, when it comes to America, you could came across some situations or scenarios in which you might need to hitchhike if you suddenly find yourself in the middle of the desert somehow. But probably more such situation occurs more likely in your dreams than in the real part, in the tangible part of the matrix. So if any of you guys has any experience with hitchhiking, please feel free to enlighten me on such issue, on such matter. Yeah, but regardless, let's proceed. Yet the sidewalker's manifesto is predicted on hitchhiking, fate onto others. And when things don't work out as intended, blame onto others. After faith in luck and events, blame is the third anchor to the sidewalk. Back in the late 80s, when I was a teenager, my mom chummed with friends at a local restaurant. Within that friendship circle, several of them put their life savings into an investment innocuously named the fund. These folks, some respected businessmen, raved about this investment, claiming impressive monthly returns. These friends encouraged my mother, as a struggling single mom, to invest. Mom was no dumb cookie. She asked questions and didn't like the answers. Something didn't feel right. Logic tickled her in the brain. Ultimately, she passed on the investment. And it remained outside her world. So it is obviously a freaking scam. Years later, the fund made headline news. An investment company had bilked or had biked. B-I-L-K.
Bilk.
An investment company had bilked millions of dollars from investors, so it should mean snatched to get money from someone unfairly or dishonestly. So that's a scam, yeah. The investment company was exposed to the Ponzi scheme, and several swindled investors committed suicide, including the perpetrator. This investment company was none other than that great investment mother declined years earlier, the fund. So the following text, the main topic for the following text is the law of victims. So maybe I have also been indulging in the lifestyle of a victim, I have been living in the comfort zone of victimhood since, yes, I do consider myself a victim of feminism, and yet no matter how much I chose to indulge in such comfort zone of victimhood, very few people actually sympathize with me. The best thing I can achieve so far by staying in the comfort zone of victimhood is that I have managed to amass a number, just a handful of supporters / patrons on my Patreon page. So that should serve as evidence enough that living in victimhood avails you next to nothing. So no matter what happens, we just have to push on, press on with life. As you can see, and as you can tell from from my current life, from the life that I am living in. Well, if I keep saying that I got myself stranded in a lifestyle I don't like, then it's just another fancy way of saying that I apparently deserved more mercy, more leniency, more favors, from others, which doesn't quite add up, right? Since I am not I am not Joker in Mass Effect trilogy who suffers from the infamous Rollick syndrome, aka brittle bone disease. Even he can get even he can sit at the main driver's seat, the so-called main driver's seat of the ship normally. Then it's just an example I can think of, but maybe it's time for me to quit living like a victim, it's time to quit indulging in the comfort zone of victimhood. Yes, but in regard, let's press on. The law of victims says you can't be a victim if you don't relinquish power to someone capable of making you a victim. When you bequeath, Jesus, there's another word that I don't know how to pronounce. My English sucks like crap. What's this word?
Bequeath.
To arrange for money or property to be given to somebody after your death. Okay, so this means to draft a will, yes. Okay, bequeath. When you bequeath control to others, you essentially become a hitchhiker with no seatbelt. You take the passenger seat in a stranger's car, which could be murderous to your financial plan. And when that happens, you are vulnerable to joining the ranks of victims. The road to victimhood is through denial. First, responsibility, then accountability. People who don't take responsibility are victims. Some of them are born victims and, instead of trying to improve their hand, they fold and give up. For them, everyone has the solution to their problems but them. And their problems? Not their fault. Nope, someone else is to blame. Instead of looking within, they look outward and project responsibility to some other entity. Victims are sidewalkers who refuse to take the driver's seat of their own lives and live under a dark cloud of vase reflective of me against them attitude. They laid me off. They changed the terms. They cheated me. They didn't tell me. They raised my rent. They raised my interest rate. Invariably, all these days are self-imposed. If the landlord raised your rent, is it his fault? You decided to live there and you didn't read the lease agreement. If the company laid you off, is it their fault to choose? Is it their fault you chose to work there? Was it my fault that I was a broke 25-year-old stuck in a blizzard in a limo on the side of the road? It was. So, again, I still have, so much to learn. So I don't suppose I found, this particular paragraph makes much sense to me, since, I still don't yet see the relevance, to the main topic here. Wealth demands accountability, and the author still hasn't actually explained how to differentiate accountability from responsibility yet at this point. Yeah. So let's resume reading and see what else we can find. There was a recent labor union rally against Walmart from employees disgruntled with the retailer's poor wages. A a 33-year-old employee named Eugene complained about his employer, arguing that he spent 3 years unloading trucks for $11.15 an hour, which was below the retail industry age of $12.95 an hour. His grievance, he can't afford a car or Walmart's health insurance. Wow, how disturbing. Was someone arrested? Seriously, someone should arrest the man who put the loaded gun to Eugene's head, forcing him to work at Walmart for a below market wage. Give this guy a bitch slap. So someone should give me a bitch slap too. But yes, fortunately, my youngest brother gave that slap, but not on my face, at the at my back, yes, but it did not inflict much damage. So I'm not sure if I should call it fortunate or unfortunate or difficult, but it's still, nevertheless, it serves a bit like a bit of a wake-up call to my past ignorance, and indulgence. He works there because he chose to work there. Hey Eugene, if you are tired of making $11 an hour, raise your value to society. Get your ass over to the library. Walmart can't offer no wages if they don't have an endless supply of victims like you. Yes, so they are Walmart. They certainly very rarely run short on supply of people who are willing to sell themselves short, and it's just sadly as the number of a particular category of people or population increases, so does their value start to decrease. Unfortunately, that's just another harsh red pill about life. Not just about how the business is run, how the world runs itself. So yes, there are just multitudes after multitudes of victims out there and here and there, east and west. Excuse me, just allow me to moisturize my tongue and throat. So, you see, when a financial advisor promises you 15% guaranteed income from a bank certificate of deposit, and you later discover that he scammed you, it's your fault. You didn't do the diligence. You didn't investigate. You ignored the tickle of logic in your brain. You are a victim of your own malfeasance. Another word I don't know. Oops, this word isn't in Cambridge Dictionary, is it? Oh yes, it is. Malfeasance. So it's a highly specialized vocabulary. So no wonder I don't know this. Malfeasance. Yeah, an example of dishonest and illegal behavior, especially by a person in authority. Yeah. Authority. Yeah, so in American accent, authority. but in British Posh accent, authority, not authority.
Authority.
It can also sound like authority instead of authority, but in British Posh, according to Cambridge Dictionary, online version. I'm not sure, I'm not sure about the printed version since I never owned a printed Cambridge English dictionary throughout my whole life. So yeah. So in British Posh accent, it's pronounced authority instead of authority. Take notes.
Malfeasance.
Yeah, so it's malfeasance. So you are a victim of your own malfeasance. Yes. That's why I mentioned, we frequently, if not constantly, lie to ourselves, so that we can make ourselves feel better, whenever some shitstorm hits us, whenever the shit hit the fan, we just choose to live in complete denial of such shit that already hit the fan. I suppose I also fall into such category of population of human individuals. Unfortunately, not sure about you guys, but that's pretty much how I perceive myself at the moment while I read this book. So next we have the politics of hitchhiking. Sight-walking hitchhikers are a major constituency in all countries. These people seek the easy life yet want someone else to pay for it. They are lifetime hitchhikers. They believe the government or some other entity should do more for them. They are victims of the system. They are victims of life because life dealt them a bad hand. They vote for whatever politician promises them the world at no cost. Free healthcare, free education, free gas, free mortgages. Wow, give me a bullet. So John F. Kennedy's ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country has Meglined. Look up a word.
Malign,
not Megline. Malign. Causing or intending to cause harm or evil. Such as, its adjective form is
malignant.
Yeah, such as a cancer. I'm not trying to badmouth you there, so please, I beg your pardon. I wish you guys all the best. I wish you guys nothing but all the best, since the world has really turned into a highly shitty place. When I was maybe just fresh dropped out of college/uni, I still kind of perceive that I could still find a bunch of people who were willing to give me a hand. But after several years of living like a hermit at my grandma's residence, and after several years more of retreating from the mainstream society, for the mainstream community, of other human individuals, yeah. And then after the premature demise of my old man, and then the and blah blah blah, and I'm not gonna get into too much details in this particular session, since it gets me sidetracked. But yes, that's basically how I become what I am today. Through a number or through a series of bad choices and decisions. So even doing nothing counts as a decision. Yes. So yeah. Where were we?
Malign.
Yeah, malign. So we are at malign. So John Kennedy's "Ask not what your country, ask not what your country can do for you, but what can you do for your country," has maligned into "What can my country do for me?" While I can't comment on the societal deterioration outside of the United States. Within the last 20 years, sidewalking has become a way of life in America. Americans, once loyal, proclaim, "Give me liberty or give me death." Now we just say, "Give me." I suppose that also I can pretty much say the same, for feminists, and well, not just for feminists, but even for MGTOWs, for people who have already amassed an ample amount of experience, life experience, red pill, even black pill experience throughout the whole manosphere. Can still fall victim to such mindset that just give me maybe those people, maybe also including me myself, just keep saying, "Give me what I want or I will commit suicide." Yeah, that sort of thing. So maybe oh crap, maybe I have been doing the same or something similar to such thing, or to such mindset, or to the mindset such particular group of people have been refusing to forfeit. Give me liberty or give me death, or just say, give me what I want. Just give, instead of proactively producing something valuable, to the world, or at least to the entire inner circle of manosphere. Yeah. So it's another matter worth pondering, worth considering. Yeah. So let's resume. As I write, the economy is in a tailspin. The housing market crashed, lending dried up, and millions have lost their savings. How did we get here? It isn't complicated. We rely on others to make financial decisions for us. We ignored the fine print. We didn't read the contract. We didn't read the legislation. We made government and insurance policy. As a society, history is doomed to repeat if we continue to repeat the same behavior. I'm a minor participant in the recession. Sure, my home declined in value. That's okay. Because I didn't use my home as a wealth tool. Yet the gurus say your home is your greatest investment. Felony. When the market crashed, I didn't lose a lot of money because the markets weren't my wealth acceleration vehicle. The Fastlane is about to control, and if you live like a side-walking hitchhiker, you have no control. Oh my god. once again, I'm not programmed to make that kind of qualified judgment. My code is limited to information and simple interaction simulations. Oh shit. But yeah, it still reminds me of Uncle Grant Cardone. He, when I was still in my exile/homelessness in year 2020, I kept reading, 10x Rule, one of the books written and narrated by Uncle Grant Cardone. Well, I have to say, yes, it gave me some rays of hope and encouragement. But I also kind of concluded that he might just be one of those gurus who keep proclaiming or exaggerating the value of real estate. That's why I still remain quite hesitant when it comes to investing in real estate. But another crucial reason why I haven't is because I don't have that much of cash to do anything to invest in the real estate market. Yeah, maybe I should thank God for that. Nonetheless, on a public forum in August 2005, I predicted the forthcoming housing bust and outlined my theory with 7 reasons I thought so. As it turns out, I was correct, and that truth crystallized because I chose to make financial decisions for myself. I didn't rely on the pontifictors, Ponzi scheme something? Pontific, how do I pronounce this? Pontificate. Pontificate. To speak or write and give your opinion about something as if you knew everything about it and as if only your opinion was correct. Okay, so it's meaning to bluff about something that you don't actually have a sound knowledge about. Express one's opinions in a pompous and dogmatic way. So that means someone who is a hypocrite, or pretty much. So I didn't rely on the pontificators at CNBC who here's another word I don't know. Rapacious or something. Rapacious.
Rapaciously?
Yeah, it's pronounced rapacious, yeah. I didn't rely on the pontificators at CNBC who rapaciously declared that housing was safe. I didn't rely on mainstream media. I didn't rely on others. I relied on me. I was driving, not hitchhiking. And the beauty of driving is something that escapes most people. Responsibility. Yeah. So that's probably the author here is saying, stop listening to the mainstream media. That's the best I can do to summarize this paragraph. But what else? Yes, just do not do not leave your seat of handsman to others. Do not leave your main driving seat to others who claim, a higher competence in driving than you do. So probably, I suppose the same principle can also apply to studying and reading the Bible, or try to live some sort of holy life, or live a life of sanctification. Just do not believe everything the pastors are propagating or proclaiming to you. But instead, we should read, the Bible ourselves and find out the truth ourselves. I suppose there's another saying that kind of conveys somewhat similar message from a pastor called Richard or something. From the Saddleback Church. But I don't remember the name of that pastor who said such thing. I just need to look up YouTube to find out. Excuse me. Yes, Rick Warren. Yeah, he said something like stop waiting for a voice, or I should say stop searching for a voice, bracket a voice of God, and start looking for a verse. Yes, something like that. Yeah, so let's resume. Just need to moisturize my tongue more. Oh my god, not sure if my hard disk still has enough space, but let's push ahead. So wealth demands responsibility, followed by accountability. Responsibility is the forefather to accountability, but one doesn't evidence the other. When you admit responsibility to overdrafting your checking account, yet do it again next week, you are not accountable. When you admit responsibility to fathering a child out of wedlock, yet continue to engage in that behavior, you are not accountable. When you take responsibility for having your purse stolen but flaunt it on the table in open view, you are not accountable. So what does wedlock mean? I'm still scratching my head around it. It's a fairly simple word to pronounce, but not sure why. I still find it difficult to interpret the meaning without having to look up a dictionary.
Wedlock.
Okay. Wedlock means it's an old-fashioned it's an old-fashioned or a humorous word. Means the state of being married. It has synonyms: marriage, matrimony, or union. Matrimony, not matrimony.
Matrimony.
Jesus, there are so many really used vocabularies in the English language.
Humorous.
Okay, so I got it right overall. So accountability is being culpable catapult. Culpable. Here it comes, the difference between accountability and responsibility. Culpable, yeah.
Culpable.
Culpable, deserving to be blamed or considered responsible for something bad. He was, for example, he was held culpable, which means blamed for all that had happened. Culpability. Culpable. Okay, I see. Accountability is being culpable to your consequences and modifying your behavior, if need be, to prevent those consequences. You can be responsible while not being accountable. A Fastlane forum user does a great job distinguishing between responsibility and accountability. What kills me is when people make the same piss-poor choice multiple times, but then claim to be responsible. It's easy to be responsible, quote and quote unquote. It's easy to be responsible, quote unquote, when responsible means just walking away. I've seen single parents who pledge to be responsible for the wild oats they've sown, only to occasionally send a check in the mail. I have seen people walk away from homes, claiming to be responsible for their actions, only to buy another home they can't afford. I have seen people being responsible for the actions they're drinking and driving caused only to do it again. I'm sick and tired of people being responsible, quote unquote. I want people to be accountable. People need to think before they act, own their choices before they make them. Own their choices before they make them. I'm okay with people making mistakes, but freaking own that you made a mistake and learn from it. That's what true accountability and responsibility is all about. I see. That's quite mind-opening. It's more than just mind-blowing, because if I say something blows my mind, it can also imply that, or it can also suggest that I got myself so shocked by such thing or such person, and oftentimes find myself wrapping my head around such thing that's greatly surprising me, that have greatly blown my mind. But mind I suppose responsibility and accountability differs from one another so vastly as as much as almost as much as being mind blown and being mind opened differs from one another as well. Yes. Does that make sense to you guys? I'm not sure, but that's basically what this interesting anecdote quoted by this particular chapter of the book reminds me of. So yes, definitely accountability differs from responsibility. Yes, also at the same time, these two these two attributes, they also have some overlapping areas or common grounds, to say the least. So a friend of mine recently had her identity stolen. As we dined at a restaurant, She belly ached. She bellyached about the nightmarish ordeal, determined to find the cause of her problem. I stopped her contempt midstream and asked a few questions. I wondered, was she a victim or not being accountable? I asked, how did your identity got stolen? My purse was stolen in Mexico. How did that happen? I probed. I was at a restaurant and someone swiped it. Oh, was your purse laid out, wide open on the table, like it is now? She glanced at her purse and got my point. As we dined, her purse sat on the tabletop in open view of everyone. Any thief could easily snatch her purse and run. She looked at me, scoffed, and then grabbed the purse and secured it to her lap. Well, still, if you happen to have come across a bandit, you could still got your purse stolen. You can place your purse on your lap. But yeah, it definitely makes the thief's job much harder by placing the purse on your lap than in an open view on the tabletop. A victim, or not holding herself accountable, her problem was caused by a bad choice, the choice to not safeguard her purse. And even after this costly lesson, she still didn't understand the power of being accountable. If she were accountable to the error, her purse wouldn't lie exposed on the table as a beacon of opportunity to thieves, but safe in her lap. Yes, that's. I can't agree more. So what else do we have? Just a few texts remaining to read for this chapter. So let's push ahead. Immunize yourself from victimization. Stop being a victim by taking responsibility, followed by accountability. So always take accountability first to avoid more responsibility you could have been able to relinquish and not add to your already overwhelming burdens on your shoulders. Yeah, so stop being a victim by taking responsibility, followed by accountability. In 2006, I bought my dream home in Phoenix, Arizona, overlooking a gorgeous mountain range. The home had one of the best views in Phoenix but needed a substantial remodel. A new friend recommended a general contractor, and I hired the contractor without investigation. No diligence, no reference check, no license investigation, nothing. What should have been taken 8 months rotted into a 3-year ordeal, a nightmare that framed the worst decision of my life. The contractor was grossly incompetent and an idiot. Yet I was to blame. I accepted both the responsibility and accountability because I hired the contractor to plunder the life of Star Wars, slightly modified. Who is the idiot? The idiot himself, or the idiot that hires the idiot? That's if you ask me, it's quite funny. Who's the idiot? The idiot himself, or the idiot that hires the idiot? But I wasn't a victim because I first was responsible. It was my fault. I allowed it to happen. Then second, I became accountable. Now when I hire house workers, I do an investigation. Or I could sink my teeth into being a victim and play the pity violin like everyone else. Yeah, but it's too late for me to just, groan and I have had this and my own shit since the shit already hit the fan. All you can do is pinpoint, is clean that pile of shit and repair that broken fan, and try to salvage the lesson, learn the lesson, so that the same pile of shit won't hit the same fan next time, or just remove the fan and use aircon instead of fan. Well, certainly, well, still, although it's not it's not a literal simile, it serves as its purpose, of a metaphor. So don't take that literally, but the underlying principle, the underlying lesson we all should learn, is do not quit indulging in the comfort zone of victimization, so that you won't live like a victim, depending on the mercy of others, yes, of the things you can't change, the uncontrollable variables, yes. What else? For my friend with the stolen purse, the Fastlane mindset is to take responsibility followed by accountability. Responsibility, it was my fault that my purse was stolen. So you check if I have pronounced fault correctly in British Posh accent. So excuse me for a sec.
Fault.
So the American accent, standard American accent, is fault, but in British Posh,
Fault.
How about I just can't remember what else I was going to look up in Cambridge Dictionary. I'll do that later. For my friend with the stolen purse, the Fastlane mindset is to take responsibility followed by accountability. Responsibility, it was my fault that my purse was stolen. Accountability, in the future, I will take precautions to ensure it doesn't happen again. Immunization for victims occurs when you are both responsible for and accountable to your actions and the possible poor consequences of those actions. Own your mistakes, failures, and triumphs. Reflect on your choices. Are you in a situation because you delivered yourself there? Did you err in the process? Were you lazy? Most bad situations are consequences of bad choices. Own them and you own your life. No one can steer you off, of course. No one can steer you off course. Not of course, but off course. Because you are in the driver's seat. And when you own your decisions, something miraculous happens. Failure doesn't become a badge of victimhood. It becomes wisdom. Deny accountability and responsibility, and the keys of your life are given to someone else. In other words, take the damn driver's seat to your life. Oh yes, you deserve. The other day I heard successive radio commercials that were utterly disturbing. You don't need to be a nuclear physicist to know their target, sidewalking victims. The first commercial was for a mortgage loan modification company. The sales pitch went like this. modify your loan and get the lower payments you deserve. Sounds like another scam. The next commercial was from an attempt in an accident. Get the money you deserve. The final commercial was from a credit repair company. Let us negotiate. Let us negotiate your debts down to nothing so you can live the life you deserve. Notice the common phrase, you deserve. Seriously, what do these people really deserve? Your credit sucks. You don't pay your bills on time, and you deserve a better life. Grandma rear-ends your car, and suddenly you deserve a large cash award from some rich insurance company. You buy a house you can't afford, and now you deserve a lower rate. How does deserving suddenly come so easy with no particular effort? Like an event raining from the heavens? We're being methodically brainwashed to believe that we deserve everything without obedience to process or accountability. You deserve what your actions earn or haven't done. Being responsible is one thing, being accountable is another. When you are accountable to your choices, you alter your behavior in the future and take the driver's seat of your life. Chapter summary. Fastlane distinctions. Hitchhikers assign control over their financial plans to others, which effectively introduce probabilities to victimhood. The law of victims. You can't be a victim if you don't relinquish power to someone capable of making you a victim. Responsibility owns your choices. Taking responsibility is the first step to taking the driver's seat of your life. Accountability is the final. Yeah, Jesus, finally. Here you go. Chapter 9, Fastlane number 9. Fastlane number 9. The millionaire. Fastlane cracked the code to wealth and live rich for a lifetime. Still have much to do, yeah? So, Jesus Christ. So I hope you have overall enjoyed this video. And of course, learned something useful, if not so encouraging from this review video about this particular Fastlane / chapter of the book Fastlane, the Millionaire Fastlane cracked the code to wealth and live rich for a lifetime. So I have to get back to some other work. So if you guys can excuse me, and yes, of course, as always, if God's still willing, I hope to see you guys next time in my next review video and all my other videos on YouTube. So yeah, take care, stay cheerful as much as you can, have faith, and stay tuned, remain steadfast. Also, stay put. Au revoir, until next time.